You know what you can never have enough of? Tack. And today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make a bridle from this horse and tack pattern pack that we have. I picked up the horse and tack accessory pattern pack at my local Tandy, and I've chosen to do the bridle out of this pattern pack. And here I just photocopied the instructions and highlighted everything. I also color coordinated it to keep myself on track to make sure I'm following the proper instructions. In this, there's instructions on how to make your brow band. I went ahead and did that. I'm setting the strap cutter to 3/4 of an inch. I used a whole side to cut my straps. You could purchase straps if you wanted to. We had a side, so we utilized what we had. Now I'm setting it to a 1/2 inch and cutting another strap out of it. Using my 3/4 inch strap, I'm going to get 2 pieces that are 12 inches long and 1 strap that's going to be 32 inches long. And here I'm getting a 44-inch strap out of our 1/2 inch. The brow band can be shaped in almost any shape you want. The important thing is that it's going to be 15 inches long. The full cutting length, including the inside overlap, should be 22 inches. And 3/4 inch wide where the neck strap and bridle strap fit in it. Here I'm using a corner punch to round the ends. I just think it makes it look nice and clean. I'm also going to taper these ends down just a little bit so that when I fold them over, they lay nicely. I'm using the Eco-Flo Hi-Lite stain. I really like it a lot, and I like how it picks up color. And now I'm gluing these top pieces to a backing. This is just a designer side that we had. At this point, I'm going to sew the top to the backing. I found that it's easier not to cut it exactly flush and sew it first than to cut it perfect and then try to sew it. Now I'm going to burnish the edges. I'm using gum track. Glycerin bar saddle soap works really well too, and it's actually my favorite. Giving old burnish sanders a whirl here. Now I'm adding on my buckles. I'm just punching holes. I decided to use Chicago screws for right here instead of sewing through it. I just thought it would be easier. You can add a little bit of super glue in the threads to keep it from coming out. I want this loop to be about 2 inches, and then I'm going to punch the holes and put conchos in here. I didn't use the proper size hole punch right here. So if you ever have that problem where your hole isn't quite big enough for your concho, you can just take your hole punch and make the hole slightly bigger. With these conchos, it's always a good idea to add a little bit of super glue to the threads. Just make sure you don't do that before you put your bit in. I couldn't find my screwdriver, so I just used a lacing chisel here. I definitely don't advise that because you can break the chisel. Be sure to use an oblong punch for the buckle housing. That allows movement when you're using the buckle. You can see here that I didn't use an oblong punch on this one, and I had to go back and use the oblong punch. I'm sewing these buckle housings in place. Earlier I used a Chicago screw. There's just more than one way to do it. I wanted to be sure that I covered all the bases. This entire brow band is 22 inches long, and I want it to be 15 after it's folded. So I'm going in and finding the exact center point for 15 inches on each side and doing the folds so that it's symmetrical. I forgot to taper down these ends, so it made folding it over kind of hard. So don't forget to taper down your ends. I'm going to add conchos right here. I just like the way it looked for design purposes. You can also sew this together, but you want to make sure that you leave room to put your straps through. If you are using conchos here, make sure you add super glue to the threads so that they don't come out. And I would also recommend sewing those tabs right there as well. The pattern calls to use a metal loop. I decided to use a belt strap keeper and paint it the same color as the accents on the tooling, just for another added design element. These fit pretty snug on there, but I like that because it keeps it from moving around too much. You can just kind of see me struggling to get them on. That also goes back to make sure you taper down these ends, because I wouldn't have had this issue had I done that before. Another option would be not put your backing on the straps, just put it on the actual brow band part. So I've got both of the bands on now, and it's time to feed the straps through. I really enjoyed making this project. It was pretty simple, it was fun to tool, and it looks great on my horse. This is a great pattern pack. I love using patterns because you can always modify them. You can blend two together to make it unique to what you need. A lot of people like the one ear halter, and there is a pattern in here for that. You could blend them together. This could also be a nose band. You would just have to modify your pattern to make it fit across the nose. The skills that we've learned today can be applied to many different things that you could possibly make. It's really just putting straps together and adding buckles and hardware.